Gunsmoke's Marshal. Matt Dillon and Miss Kitty are one of Hollywood's most famous on-screen duos. Fans still wonder why they never made their relationship official, even after all this time. The tension between Matt Dillon and Miss Kitty was subtle but clear. Miss Kitty's last appearance on the show was in 1974. Nearly 50 years later, both longtime fans and new viewers still discuss the unanswered questions about their relationship. Surprisingly, the answer comes straight from James Arness himself. Let's take a closer look at what really happened. Gunsmoke began as a radio show in 1952. When the producers decided to turn it into a TV series, they needed someone to play the town's sheriff. James Arness, who was 32 then, was the top choice. John Wayne recommended him, and he beat out other actors like William Conrad, who had voiced Matt Dillon on radio. Standing at 6 feet 7 inches, Arness fit the role perfectly. His height helped him bring many stories to life. He understood the struggles of the world because he had experienced them himself as a veteran of World War II. The studio and writers wanted a tough actor to handle the tough scenes, and Arness fit that role perfectly. Throughout the show, Matt Dillon faced gunshots, beatings, stabbings, and even poison. Playing the sheriff was a natural fit for Arness. He didn't need much to step into character. Amy Stock, who worked with him on 4 Gunsmoke movies, said how easily he switched from off-duty to inaction on screen. She remembered the first time she saw him in costume. He was wearing the cowboy hat, coat, and tennis shoes. He was sitting casually in his chair, still in tennis shoes. When they called him to set, he simply took off his shoes and slipped into cowboy boots. Then he headed straight to his horse. That moment showed how perfectly he became Matt Dillon. Amy said he was the ideal actor for the role. When Amanda Blake got her part as Miss Kitty, she was in her mid-20s. She was excited and worked hard to earn her spot. Blake was happy to work alongside Arness. Fans loved her portrayal of Miss Kitty, the owner of the local saloon in Dodge City. Her looks and charm made her stand out on screen. Her character became a beloved part of the show and added ideas of romance and tension to the series. The show shifted from black and white to color around halfway through its run in 1966. Gunsmoke started in 1955 and lasted until 1975, spanning 20 seasons. James Arness played Matt Dillon throughout all these seasons. Amanda Blake finished her role as Miss Kitty in the 19th season. Throughout the series, writers never fully explored Matt and Miss Kitty's relationship, but it was clear there was something deeper between them. James Arness was born on May 26, 1923, in Minneapolis, Minnesota. His career began in 1945 as a radio announcer in Minnesota. After moving to Los Angeles, he gained attention in Hollywood. His big break came in 1947, when he appeared alongside Loretta Young in The Farmer's Daughter. That year, he also starred in several Western films. His role in the science fiction classic The Thing in 1951 boosted his fame early in his career. In the early 1950s, Arness signed a contract with John Wayne's production company, Bat Jack. During his 3 years with them, he worked on 4 films with Wayne. It was John Wayne who helped him land his biggest role in 1955, casting him as Marshal Matt Dillon in Gunsmoke. The story goes that CBS initially wanted Wayne for the part when turning the show from radio to TV. Wayne declined, but recommended Arness instead. CBS agreed to give Arness a chance among 25 other actors, including Raymond Burr. Choosing to act on TV instead of film made Arness unsure at first, but he stayed with Gunsmoke for 20 years. He earned 3 Emmy nominations before the show ended in 1975. It became the longest-running drama in television history. Jim Arness also starred in 4 Gunsmoke TV movies, with the last one, Gunsmoke: The Long Ride, coming out in 1992. After Gunsmoke, Arness kept looking for roles in TV westerns. From 1976 to 1979, he appeared in How the West Was Won, considered one of the best miniseries. His final TV show was a police drama called Big Jim McClane in the early 1980s. Before Hollywood fame, Arness served as a soldier in the U.S. Army. He received many honors, including the Bronze Star, the Purple Heart, and the Combat Infantryman Badge. It's impressive that he wanted to join the Navy as a fighter pilot, but was turned away because he was too tall. The Army put his height to good use when he landed on Anzio Beach in Italy on January 22, 1944. He was the first to check the water's depth from the landing craft. Just 10 days later, he fought in some fierce battles in complete darkness. On February 1, 1944, while sneaking through a vineyard, he heard voices and a scream. A firefight broke out. He took heavy machine gun fire that shattered his lower leg. A concussion grenade also hit near him, tossing him into the air. Bullets sprayed all around. The soldiers fought hard and won that battle. But Arness was badly injured. He needed several surgeries back in the U.S. to repair his leg. After being honorably discharged on January 29, 1945, he enrolled at Beloit College and worked as a radio announcer. This job unexpectedly led him into the entertainment world. He hitchhiked to Hollywood to find acting parts and soon befriended John Wayne. When the role of Matt Dillon opened up, Wayne pushed for him, and that's how Ernest became well known as U.S. Marshal Matt Dillon. He played a character who kept the law but showed kindness and fairness. On the show Gunsmoke, Kitty Russell embodied love rather than drama. The actress who played her, Amanda Blake, was just as loving in real life. She poured her heart into her work and loved rescuing dogs and cats. Amanda Blake was born Beverly Louise Neal in Buffalo on February 20th, 1929. She was the only child of Jesse and Louise Neal and had English and Scottish roots. She could trace her family back to Kate Barry, a Revolutionary War hero who warned patriots about the British and helped secure victory at the Battle of Cowpens. That victory helped lead to Yorktown's win. When Beverly was in high school, her family moved to Claremont, California. She finished high school there and attended Pomona College. During her time in college, she developed a strong love for community theater. It became her main focus, and she decided to pursue acting full-time. In the 1940s, she acted in summer stock theater in New England and performed on radio and stage back in Buffalo to keep her hopes alive. Eventually, Beverly moved to Hollywood after MGM discovered her. The studio saw big potential and compared her to Greer Garson, a huge star in the 1940s. She changed her name from Beverly Neal to Amanda Blake to be more memorable. Her career started with a role in Stars in My Crown, and she appeared in over a dozen movies and TV shows in the early 1950s. Her major break came in 1955 when she was cast as Miss Kitty Russell, owner of the Long Branch Saloon in Dodge City. She starred alongside a then-unknown James Arness, who played Marshal Matt Dillon. The next 19 years were full of success. They made Gunsmoke one of the most loved Western TV shows ever. Blake said working on the set felt like being with family. After her first divorce in 1956, she often spent her days off on the set. It gave her a sense of belonging. From 1955 to 1974, she didn't do many movies, but she appeared in many guest spots on shows like Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Red Skelton Show, The Dean Martin Comedy Hour, Tattletales, Match Game, and The Love Boat. In 1964, she married her second husband, Jason Seymour Day. They divorced in 1967. In 1967, she married her third husband, Frank Gilbert, and stayed with him until 1982. Both characters were charming, so viewers often thought a romance was brewing. But the romantic vibe was more than just fan speculation. Let's explore Miss Kitty and why some believe her relationship with Matt never became official. She wore flashy outfits and served drinks to rowdy cowboys who often had too much to drink. Arness, who played Marshal Matt Dillon. The next 19 years were full of success. They made Gunsmoke one of the most loved Western TV shows ever. Blake said working on the set felt like being with family. After her first divorce in 1956, she often spent her days off on the set. It gave her a sense of belonging. From 1955 to 1974, she didn't do many movies, but she appeared in many guest spots on shows like Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Red Skelton Show, The Dean Martin Comedy Hour, Tattletales, Match Game, and The Love Boat. In 1964, she married her second husband, Jason Seymour Day. They divorced in 1967. In 1967, she married her third husband, Frank Gilbert, and stayed with him until 1982. Both characters were charming, so viewers often thought a romance was brewing. But the romantic vibe was more than just fan speculation. Let's explore Miss Kitty and why some believe her relationship with Matt never became official. She wore flashy outfits and served drinks to rowdy cowboys who often had too much to drink. She was quick to give advice and listen to their stories about cowboy life. This was not how a proper lady in 1955 was supposed to act. Miss Kitty defied traditional roles of a Sunday school teacher. She kept a shotgun hidden behind her bar and was a brave pioneer woman. She was more fascinating than most women of her time. She controlled the hiring and firing of her staff. Her waitresses were younger and more daring than she was. The cowboys, rough and wild, often came not just for drinks, but for conversation after returning from cattle trails. Despite their close bond, Miss Kitty and Matt never showed public affection. The show's writers and producers made that choice. They wanted viewers to feel the chemistry without obvious displays of love. Arness played a strong lawman who was a good shot and knew how to handle a big horse. He made a solid peacekeeper, but maybe not the perfect husband. If Matt and Miss Kitty cared so much, why didn't they marry after 20 years? Was Matt embarrassed around her? She was outspoken and could drink and shoot with the toughest men. Maybe Dillon wanted a wife more like a traditional homebody. James Arness shared his thoughts in his autobiography about why they never became a real couple. Many fans asked him about his relationship with Amanda Blake and why it never went beyond hints of romance. He said Blake was clear that no one should interfere with her character. Arness said the decision was not his, but the producer's. They thought pushing the romance further might hurt the show's popularity. Keeping the relationship subtle and mysterious was better for viewers. Even if they didn't see it that way, Arness believed it was more exciting to leave the love story to the imagination. Behind the scenes, Arness and Blake had a friendly, platonic bond. He praised the casting of Blake as Miss Kitty, saying she was perfect for the role. She was seen as a perfect example of the strong casting that contributed to the show's success. Aries described Blake as a talented actress and a good friend. Many conversations pointed out that a lawman could make enemies, and being identified as Matt Dillon's girlfriend could be risky for Kitty. So, what exactly was their relationship? Jim Burns, who wrote 34 of the best episodes, says they played it subtly. He explained that after the scenes ended, there was an unspoken understanding. Once the Long Branch was closed and Matt Dillon put up the sign for the night, he would go upstairs to see Kitty. But their relationship wasn't openly shown. They flirted, teased, hugged, and walked together, but they never kissed. James Arness believed the show's creators kept Matt and Kitty's relationship unclear. They didn't want to change the heart of the show or its characters too much. That strategy worked, as fans often wrote in asking for more romantic scenes between them. The producers wanted to keep viewers interested and curious, so they kept the tension alive throughout the series. This approach paid off. While the writers didn't plan to have Matt marry Kitty, they knew trouble and temptations would come. In Season 5, Kitty's outlaw, Anley Pryor, a man from Kitty's past, challenges her loyalty. In Season 8, The Way It Is, Claude Enns finds time for Kitty when Matt is busy. In Cotter's Girl, Matt tries to help orphan Mariette Harley, but finds himself the focus of her affection. In Season 12, Sarah Ann Francis plays a woman from Matt's past who runs a hideout for criminals and wants him back. In Season 15, The Badge, Kitty sees Matt shot for the 11th time. She can't take it anymore. She closes the Long Branch and moves to another town. She then partners with Beverly Garland in her new business. There was a noticeable change in how Matt and Miss Kitty interacted. Miss Michael Learned, famous for her role in The Waltons, played a love interest for Matt during a story where he lost his memory. Their relationship developed, and they even shared a rare kiss for Matt. When Matt got his memory back, he returned to Miss Kitty. This storyline continued 17 years later in a TV movie. In that story, Matt and Miss Kitty had a child who was kidnapped. Matt, with help from another character, searched for his child. The other character then shows interest in marrying Miss Learned's character. This echoes the earlier romantic tension between Matt and Kitty. Later in the series, Miss Kitty meets a man who gets hurt saving her during a stagecoach robbery. He offers marriage, leading to a heartfelt chat with Matt. Miss Kitty confesses her deep feelings for Matt and their long history. She questions if their relationship could grow into something more. In the end, she recognizes the limits of their situation. Matt admits his feelings but leaves the choice to Kitty. That season was the last for Amanda Blake as Miss Kitty. Now living in Arizona and married, she found her daily commute harder. She often clashed with producer John Mantley. Their biggest fight was over her costumes. Miss Kitty was meant to look classy, but Mantley never set aside money for new outfits. When Blake wanted a new wardrobe, Mantley refused. Later, he said it was the worst mistake he ever made. Many people had opinions, including Blake. She said the folks behind Gunsmoke didn't want romantic plots between Matt and Miss Kitty. They believed romance would spoil the show's Western feel and turn viewers away. Blake joked about the old Western idea that heroes loved their horses more than women. She reassured fans that Matt's feelings for Kitty ran much deeper. Blake said Gunsmoke aimed to appeal to many viewers. The show used the Old West's charm to reach all ages. Because of this focus on history, there wasn't much room for romance. Blake encouraged fans to imagine romantic moments between Kitty and the Marshal. The show didn't show many clear love scenes. It ended after one more season, in 1979. After Gunsmoke, Arness continued acting in other series like How the West Was Won and McLean's Law. He also played Jim Bowie in the TV movie The Alamo. The Gunsmoke cast reunited in 1987 when John Mantley brought Amanda back for a TV film. Gunsmoke returned to Dodge City, written by Jim Burns.